Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. It's Friday, November 28th, 2025. We're now at day 784 since the October 7th attacks, more than 2 years ago. Yesterday, I gave a detailed update of what's happening in Gaza, the way that winter is coming and there is inadequate provision in terms of food, humanitarian assistance, and the living situations are horrific. Today, the bodies of 9 militants who were hiding in an underground compound in eastern Rafah in the south of the Gaza Strip were found by the Israeli army, so said an IDF spokesperson. There's been significant news the last few days in Israeli news about the border policemen claiming self-defense in the killing of 2 seemingly unarmed Palestinian suspects earlier this week. The Israeli forces said they had to open fire in an act of self-defense. 3 undercover combat officers are under investigation by the Justice Ministry's unit that investigates police misconduct in Israel. Footage of the event circulated. They were questioned on suspicion of killing and opening fire against orders. Those 3 border police officers were questioned over the killings in the occupied West Bank, but they were released after only 8 hours. They were connected to a killing that was documented. The officers are barred from contacting those involved in the case. In footage published by an Egyptian news channel, the 2 Palestinians were seen leaving a building in Jenin's Jabal Abu Daya neighborhood. This was on Thursday, with their hands raised in the air. After the officers took control, they are seen ordering them to lie on the ground at the entrance to the building before one officer shoots them to death at very close range. I wanted to introduce to you a resource that comes from an organization we're connected to in Jerusalem, and the website is called Communicating Palestine. I'd encourage you to look it up. It's a go-to guide that offers tools to narrate and engage with Palestine ethically and responsibly. These are perspectives from Palestinian perspectives and human rights groups. They include best practices for countering disinformation and fostering ethical reporting and centering Palestinian agency. It's a one-stop manual that empowers everyone. Again, it's called Communicating Palestine. You can go to their website, and it includes activists, artists, journalists, and policymakers, and the goal is for them to communicate Palestine with integrity. Updates on Lebanon. The IDF struck Hezbollah operation sites across South Lebanon. Today, it said, and Hezbollah has declared, quote, the right to respond. This was after Israel killed their military chief. Hezbollah's leader said the group has the right to respond to an Israeli strike in Lebanon that killed its top military official on Sunday, but they've not decided yet how they're going to respond. Syrians say that 13 were killed by Israel after there was a clash with IDF, and 6 Israeli soldiers were left wounded. This between a couple of days. The total deaths over Friday and Saturday say that at least 20 people were killed in Israeli attacks. The incident left 3 soldiers seriously wounded, the army said, including 2 officers. The Syrian Foreign Ministry said at least 20 people were killed, while health authorities said that 10 civilians were confirmed dead. Iran has transferred hundreds of millions of dollars to Hezbollah through businesses and money exchanges in Dubai. The Wall Street Journal just reported this, including citing an American official. At the international community, the UN has called for the organization and monitoring of Israeli prison conditions. They said that it is, quote, organized and widespread torture, end quote. The UN body that monitors state torture said it is deeply concerned about policies that are in Israel, and they called for Israel to establish a review of these allegations. The Committee Against Torture submitted a report highlighting reports indicating a de facto state policy of organized and widespread torture and ill treatment during the reporting period, which has gravely intensified since October 7th. You'll recall I mentioned yesterday that the Red Cross has not been allowed to visit prisoners that are held, Palestinian prisoners that are held in Israeli jails, that policy stopped after October 7th. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz will travel to Israel on December 6th and 7th. This is his first official visit since taking office. And I have just a couple of updates about Christians in the Middle East. Turkey and Lebanon are standing ready to receive Pope Leo XIV. I believe actually his visit's already begun on his first international apostolic journey. It's focusing on witness and encounter. His Holiness, the Pope, is traveling to the Middle East to strengthen the faith and to share the message of Christ. The Secretary of State of the Holy See, the Vatican, Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin, emphasizes the importance of the apostolic journey for ecumenical and interreligious dialogue, as well as a role that His Holiness plays as a sign of hope and peace. Two mottos have been chosen for these visits: one Lord, one faith, one baptism, and blessed are the peacemakers. These highlight the themes of hope, unity, and fraternity. The visit to Turkey will center on the ecumenical celebration that marks 1,700 years since the Council of Nicaea. We know well and often recite the Nicene Creed. In Lebanon, a special moment of the visit will be a silent prayer at the Beirut port, the site of the explosion that happened 5 years ago that killed more than 200 people and injured 7,000. Finally, an update from Christian Concern about a few cases in Iran of Christians being imprisoned. Please remember the following Christians in your prayers as they start serving prison sentences for supposed crimes related to their religious activities. Morteza Faganpour Sassi, 38 years old, reported to Evin prison to start a 9.5-year sentence. He was among a group of Christian converts arrested in Verimin and environs in June of last year. 5 Christians, including Morteza, were each sentenced to 7.5 years in prison by Verimin Revolutionary Court on charges of propaganda activity contrary to Islamic law due to overseas connections, and an additional 7 months for propaganda against the system. Morteza was given an additional 17-month sentence for allegedly insulting Iran's supreme leader on social media. Zahra Hana Gholami, 35 years old, and Hossein Daniel Mohammadi, 66, responded to a summons to serve a 2-year prison sentence, turning themselves into security offices last week. They were arrested on December 11th, a year ago, when Iranian security raided a gathering that was planning a Christmas celebration. Following a trial and a revolutionary court in July, Hannah, Daniel, and an Afghan convert, Hosseini, also known as Karash, were convicted of charges of forming and membership of a group or association with the aim of disrupting national security. They were each given a 2-year prison sentence. Another convert was given 1-year sentence for aiding and abetting others in their quote unquote crimes. So pray that God will encourage these Christians and their families, that they'll adjust to prison life, that they'll relate well to their fellow prisoners, having the opportunity to witness and to be in good health physically and emotionally. Pray for the Iranian authorities that they will stop the criminalization of normal Christian activities, and that these Christians in prison will be allowed an early release. Again, that is from Christian Concern. Those are updates from the Middle East. May God go before us in our continued efforts towards peace. In the name of Christ, amen.